there's a way to make an entrance.
This is my destiny.
It was now a conspiracy of witches.
Download Veely today.
Tonight on the House of Tiny Tearaways.
You know that I love you, don't you?
Yeah. That's so painful for you to hear, but I think it's the truth.
With the end in sight, today is Tanya's last full day with the families and her last chance to tackle their problems. It's crunch time in the House of Tiny Tearaways. 3 families, the Taylors, the Bogues and the Larkin Smiths have all come to the House of Tiny Tearaways, desperate for clinical psychologist Dr. Tanya Byron to help them combat their children's behaviour problems. With just one day to go, all the families are hoping that Tanya can solve their problems and turn their lives around for good in the House of Tiny Tearaways. It's Thursday morning and the families are still asleep, except for 3.5-year-old Letitia Taylor. Mum Kim Taylor arrived 5 days ago, desperate for Tanya's help, with 3.5-year-old daughter Letitia, whose violent tantrums were destroying the family. Tanya observed that Kim's inability to bond with Letitia was the main cause of her daughter's extreme behaviour. With Tanya's encouragement, Kim has made a breakthrough with Letitia. Kim's challenge now is to make sure that well-behaved 8-year-old son Connor is not ignored. This morning, after Mum Kim's rude awakening, Connor is still asleep, while things aren't going quite to plan for Letitia.
Boo. Don't let out. What are you doing now?
What?
Get your vest off the back of that chair. And I want you to turn that light out. Connor's still asleep. Come out now.
There you go.
It's 8 o'clock and the Bogue family are in the lounge.
Right, Mummy's getting you a cup of tea.
What did you do? Rowan, we have no punching.
Amanda and Morton Bow came to the house desperate for help with middle son Rowan's behaviour. Tanya has since observed that Dad Morton's fear of his own anger and Mum Amanda's inability to face confrontation is affecting Rowan, along with them parenting him in the same way as their mildly autistic son Dylan. Yesterday, Tanya told them that they should make their emotions clear and keep their actions firm during Rowan's tantrums.
Do not bite your brother.
Nice.
Thank you. Okay, excuse me. Do not hit Mummy. Would Ron like to come outside and play? No? Okay, I'll ignore you. Dylan, come on, we're going down the sandpit. There you go. Right. That's good, isn't it? Yeah? Is that good? You filled all up? Do not hit Mummy. If you hit Mummy again, you will go to your bedroom. You've already had one warning. Wow, did that dump out? Yeah? Right, okay. You've got your room, please. You do not hit Mummy.
Toast. You want out? What's he done?
Hit me again.
Tanya suggests that when a child is put in time-out, they should stay there for 1 minute of every year of their life.
You do not hit Mummy. That is why you are in your room. You will stay here for 3 minutes. You are in here because you hit Mummy. You do not hit Mummy. I would like you to come back along to the lounge. If you want a kiss, you can have a kiss. No, right back. You do not hit Mummy. 3 more minutes. You are in here because you hit Mummy and you do not hit people. Mummy's going to go back along. Okay, another 3 minutes.
Three time-outs later, Rowan's tantrum is beginning to calm down.
You were in here because you hurt Mummy and you hit Mummy. You do not hit people. I'd like you to join me when you're ready. Wow.
Look how yellow one.
The yellow one.
Then a big digger.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. You've done this really, really well. Really well. I mean, there's lots of things to talk about. Number one, the screaming. I mean, obviously, I know it can get a lot more, but it was, for me, it was a classic example of a child who knows that that noise will completely get everybody's attention, which has been in the past because there's been lots of talking and stuff. And he looked totally bewildered, the fact that you completely ignored him. But what was really effective was when you looked at him and you did the face and the thing, because he really did stop. This now is absolutely brilliant. This is closure, but what you've done is you've allowed him to come to you. And it's much better.
Yes, I have.
Where's the girls?
Pardon?
Where's the girls? Oh, they're up there.
Don't know, don't care.
Eesh.
When they let me have a night's sleep, I'll start caring.
It's hard, isn't it? When the...
No, let go. Let go.
Hey, stop it! Oi! What is this? Hey?
Delphi and Rebecca Larkin-Smith won't go to bed by themselves and frequently wake up crying in the night. As mum Sarah is epileptic, lack of sleep is a major risk to her health. Tanya introduced the rapid return technique, which has prompted a vast improvement. The same cannot be said for the twins' vicious fighting. After Rebecca and Delphi's morning buggy fight, Tanya has her first consultation of the day with Larry and Sarah. Meanwhile, Kim Taylor is taking care of the twins.
But they're both doing very, very well. I mean, I'm really pleased with this. Are you?
Well, absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
And how did Mummy do last night? You say you didn't sleep well last night?
No, I think I just had lots on my mind.
This is stirring things up for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I just got a bit upset last night with taking Rebecca back, and well, we had quite a good chat last night, didn't we?
Yeah.
About thinking.
I could see you were uptight. Obviously upset about Rebecca wanting Mummy and you not being able to go to her, which upset me too.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I just
but,
feel that Delphi's just a bit. She seems like the younger.
And we
The
talked a
younger
little
one of
bit
the two.
about Mummy too, which is...
My mum, yeah.
Yeah.
My mum didn't get much love or any love as a child herself. You know, she wasn't wanted at all. And they say that, you know, you end up turning out like your mother, and, you know, she might have turned out a bit like her mum. And I'm so anxious not to.
I mean,
So
Sarah...
I'm maybe trying to overcompensate, maybe by, you know, trying to not turn out like that, to be over nice, you know, so that I do give the love.
So, do you think your mother was disappointed to have a daughter when she had you?
But she thinks we've got a really sort of close relationship and that everything is great. And my dad was overjoyed to have a girl, so...
Tell me about your father. He was...
a lot older than my mum.
How many years older?
Even older than you.
Nobody's older than me.
What was the age difference between...
44 years.
44 years.
Yeah.
And the age difference between you two?
33.
33, right. I think you've had a lot happen to you in a very young life. I mean, you are young. You're 29, 28, yes. But in 28 years, you lost your parent when you were very young. You were sent away to boarding school. There's been issues in terms of relationships.
Yeah, she said the main reason she sent me to the big stint of boarding school was because she didn't want early mornings taking me to school.
So she didn't want her sleep disturbed.
Yes, coming back to sleep deprivation.
So you'll bring your girls into your bed and show the world, show yourself that you're a mother who will have her sleep disturbed for her children. Now, it feels to me like you've been trying to repair quite a lot of your history through what you have then subsequently gone on to do in your life. You've married a man in the same kind of generation as your dad, who left you when you were 2.5, really charismatic, and he's yours, and he's not going to leave you, and he's going to be okay. I wonder whether you fear the loss at some stage. Then you have had your girls, and not one, but two, so you're really challenged and you're going to show the world that you can stop this cycle of what happens to women in your family, and that your girls can be loved up to the point that even if they want to disturb your sleep, they can, because you know what it's like. You know the consequence of a parent who says you can't disturb my sleep, and that is to be sent away at a very young age on your own. And I guess the task really, Sarah, for me with you before you leave the house is to help you recognise that not allowing your children to manipulate you at night, being a firm parent and saying you don't bite your sister, is not the same as being sent to boarding school at the age of 4 and never feeling loved. It's not the same. But I think for you, you're terrified that your girls will one day turn around and say to you, you did this and we felt you didn't love us. Am I in the right place?
Yeah.
Yeah. Often, Sarah, you will push Larry to one side, or often you will absent yourself, because at the end of the day, I think in your relationship, subtly, it's always what you want in terms of the girls. Because sometimes you snipe at each other. I can feel it. I think it's a bit of tension about who is in charge here.
Yeah, it's like that at home.
Pardon?
It is like that at home.
Is it?
Isn't it?
And maybe you both need
Probably
to be
me
in charge.
snapping more.
You snapping more.
It's probably me snapping more.
And then there's an atmosphere between the
Yeah.
two of you, which of course kids pick up on. And if there's a tense atmosphere in a family, the first thing to go is a child's behaviour.
Yeah.
So then the whole cycle sort of perpetuates itself. I'm looking at a family who, in terms of family functioning, is brilliant. A fantastic, loving family. What we are seeing in terms of behaviour problems are two little girls who are used to getting their own way at night and during the day. So we have to boot up assertiveness, boot up and ignoring, and boot up attention to child that's behaving well. And you, missus, when you can behave better, you can join the party. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, you're going out today. Oh, wow. Shall I tell you where you're going? You're going to go to a massive theme park.
We've never ever been to a theme park because of Dylan, so it'll be good
Well,
to see today, because, yeah.
That's kind of why I've done it. I
Yeah.
hope that's all right.
No, that's fine.
I mean, what I would prefer, if possible, is if you could stay together at all times rather than separate them. And for Dylan to learn, sometimes he just has to wait until his brother's had his turn, even if it's getting too much, and vice versa. The one thing I wanted to discuss with you just very quickly is what to do if one of them has a bit of a paddy, has a bit of a tantrum. Beg your pardon. And to you too. You see,
Yeah. Dylan, Rowan had that first, so are we going to let Rowan play with that and then you can take your turn? Yeah? There you go.
so, will you have buggies with you?
Yes, one for Arlen.
Would you ever
These
use...
two.
No.
Won't stay in them, so... No.
Right. Okay. What I would suggest is, if one of them is behaving in a way that is unacceptable, use the once nicely and the once firmly. But what we need to work out is what would be a consequence. Do you know, it's impossible to do my job. Let's see who can be the quietest in the house. Mummy Sarah, could you get a game of dead lions going on the floor? Okay. Okay. Who can lie on the floor and be the quietest? Who can be the quietest? Yes. Who can be the quietest? Who can be the quietest?
Rebecca, Delphi.
I need a fast car out of here now, is what I need. Come on, girls. Come on, girls. Do you want to play? Should we go? Do you want to play? Should we go? That's it, Rebecca. Come on. You mustn't
Barry.
move and you mustn't smile.
Can you help her down?
Good girl, Rebecca. Come on then. Good girl. Are you going to come, Delphi?
I know.
Good boy. Woo! Right. Okay, here we go. Back again. So, theme park been avoided because two boys with different needs. Here you have the opportunity to try and work together. I'm feeling quite anxious. I've got to get this out really quickly before the whole thing goes off again. Shh. Right, because it's behaviour training, it's going to take time for them to learn that they don't get attention. I saw something really interesting with Rowan this morning. He was really watching you, because what was fascinating was that he was standing in front of you, literally just going, ah! No tears, nothing, just like, I know if I make this noise, I get her all to myself, and my two brothers can't have her, ha, ha, ha. And I think it's a really effective way he can split you away from his brothers. So we've got to teach him, lovely Rowan gets huge amounts of attention, not so lovely Rowan gets none.
Why have the Bogues gone out today?
The Bogue family for me have been the family that have been the most challenging for me, and the family that I've been the most concerned about. I've sent them to a place where they should go with their boys because their boys would love it, but they've never gone, a theme park, because of the conflicting needs of Dylan, who needs less stimulation, and Rowan, who loves stimulation. Dylan, I have to say, functions really well with his autism diagnosis. He is an extremely engaging little chap. And so Amanda and Morton specifically know how to parent him, which is in a very calm way, lots of holding, lots of, talking. For Rowan, it's completely the reverse. He needs stimulation and fun, and he needs, and not everything just so and just so. Therefore, the challenge for Morton and Amanda is then to find different parenting skills for Rowan, which is fine theoretically, but practically when you've got both boys in the same place, a theme park particularly at the same time, where Dylan could get overstimulated and agitated and Rowan could get bored and want to go on that massive ride now, that's when the challenges really begin. And I think that's the real world challenges for Morton and Amanda, and I think that's what they need to practice.
That's some? No, it's Mummy's. Don't stop. Mummy's out. She wants to take my ice out of my drink. Let's just take the ice out of the drink. And I'm just trying to cool the water down with it, so I don't want her to. I've got a raging headache and I'd want to... It's so hot.
Any pills?
No, I'm going to go and have some.
Do you want to come outside with me?
Would you like to go and play outside?
Yes, you are. Come on. Come.
While the Larkin-Smiths look after Connor and Letitia, Tanya is having a consultation with Kim.
I suppose the first thing I want to say is that it's Thursday and we're coming up to our last day in the house. How do you feel about that?
Fine, because I know I can cope with it now, so I know I can do it.
Something's changed inside you.
I think because, when she's had her tantrums, I've dealt with them and they've just stopped. So now I've done that by myself. I don't need anybody to stand there and say, this, that and other. So, I know that when we go home, it's still going to be the same.
I think you're quite sad to be leaving this house and you're going to find it hard to say goodbye.
Because there's all been this support.
Oh, sweetheart.
And that's what I don't... Not that I ain't got support at home, but I don't think I ain't got the right support. I lost my best friend.
You lost your best friend?
Yeah, she's been dead just over a year now.
What was her name?
Bonetta. She died of cancer. I was just going to go visit her that day as well. And she died in the morning.
Did you know she was going to die?
No, I mean, we all knew she was poorly. She'd been in remission and then it came back and it spread and she was in, the hospice and everything, and she went home for Christmas, but she said she didn't tell me on the phone when I spoke to her, but she told her neighbour that I've had enough now. I mean, she'd battled for 8 years. But it's just, she's gone because now I just make it on the phone and say, Bonetta, I'm not, I'm not, right now I'm not feeling, too good. And we'd just talk for hours and I don't have that anymore.
No. But you need a close friend, don't you? You need another woman who can support you and you support her. So that's important. What would she then say to you if she had watched your journey, if she had seen what you'd gone through?
That you've come a long way, and she'd be able to see how strong I have. I feel a lot stronger than Sunday when I came in. For the first time in a long time, I'm proud of myself because, like I say, Sunday I was just like, I can't do this. I got in here and I just froze and I thought, what am I doing? And it's taken you know, to do something like this for me to realise that it's not Letitia, you know, and it is me, and that I've had to deal with that, and that's hurt me a lot, you know, through the week. I'm like, I can't believe how, you know, bad I've been doing, really. But, like, looking back now, I'm like, I'm really glad we've done it.
So you've built a friendship with your
Yeah.
daughter?
Yeah.
So you've got lots of happy times together with her as friends? Isn't that great? And it makes you feel...
Because I've just never, I don't know, I've never felt it before with her.
No. And who did all that?
Me.
Absolutely. You did it.
That was quite a consultation with Kim Taylor, wasn't it? How hard was it for you?
I'm doing my job, but you cannot not feel what is in the room. And particularly I think when she was talking about the loss of her best friend, and we started to talk about how her best friend would feel about what she's done, that was very, very powerful. Really, really powerful, actually.
How has her losing her best friend, how has that affected the way that she parents her daughter Letitia, who she came in here with quite a difficult relationship with?
It's not just losing her best friend, it's all the other issues that Kim has had to deal with in her life and all the emotional baggage that she carries. Letitia, I think, has shown very clearly how her behaviour is very, very directly related to her mother's emotional state. What we generally see, and we've seen a lot of in the house, are children who have tantrums because behaviourally they're not being managed very well. There aren't clear boundaries and there aren't clear consequences. Therefore, with those children, the parent needs to be very, very firm. If you do that again, you will go to your room. Very, very clear, but relatively emotionless on their face, so they don't give attention to the tantrum. The Letitia-type tantrums are children who have parents who are depressed and who cannot show their child emotion. So the tantrum means something slightly different. It means, I need to get something out of you, mummy, that's why I'm screaming. So these children do need to see emotion on the parent's face in order to come out of the tantrum.
I know she's only 3.5, but what would you say is going on inside Letitia's head?
Mummy gives me emotion when I am not having a tantrum, so I will have less tantrums. It's not going through her head in that way, but her behaviour is showing us that she has processed that on at some level. I think what's also going on in her head is, this is a great house, I've had a great week, and you know what, I really love my mum. And that is what should be going on in 3.5-year-old children's heads, really.
The families are all leaving tomorrow. Are they ready?
Kim Taylor, yes. The Larkin-Smiths, yes. The Bogues, not sure. Need to hear how today has gone. Need to see how they respond to today. So they're the ones that I guess I still feel I haven't quite got my head into enough to be able to say to you confidently, do you know what, Claude, tomorrow they'll be fine leaving as well.
It's the penultimate day in the House of Tiny Tearaways, and whilst huge progress has been made over the week, there is still work to be done. Kim Taylor entered the house unable to control her daughter Letitia's violent tantrums. With Tanya's help, Kim has learned to diffuse her daughter's temper and form a genuine bond with her. But will this continue when they leave the house? Larry and Sarah Larkin-Smith have their hands full with their 2.5-year-old twin daughters, Delphi and Rebecca. Having made great progress with the twins' sleep problem, Tanya has moved on to Sarah's lack of assertiveness, which she needs to work on before she leaves the house. The Bogue family is still a concern for Tanya. 3-year-old Rowan's tantrums and fights with his brothers Dylan and Arlen have made life a living hell for parents Morton and Amanda. Tanya has encouraged both parents to be more forceful in dealing with the boys' behaviour, but with only one day left in the house, will Morton and Amanda be able to turn this behaviour around? Still to come.
It's dinner time soon, Delphi.
In a consultation earlier, Sarah Larkin-Smith talked about losing her father at an early age. She joins Tanya in the gazebo for a one-to-one chat.
Right.
Do you still miss him?
Yes.
Very much.
I think of him nearly every night. And
do you?
I think I'll take 20 years of my life just for a ghost to appear, just to say hello or anything, you know.
What would you say to him if he did?
Just want to give him a cuddle.
Right.
Like Rebecca does.
Like
Rebecca does.
when she comes and cuddles you in the night, and do you kind of lie with her holding you and think, this is how I'd like to cuddle my dad? And
I have done.
yeah. That's very hard. Do you think that you were ever able to say goodbye to him at any stage of your life?
No, and he's still down in the lounge in an urn.
You'd got your father's ashes in your living room downstairs? Okay.
And that might be a bit weird.
No. It's not the reality of any situation, it's what it symbolises, but it symbolises to me that you've got your dad living in your house and you haven't been able to say goodbye to him. The girls are now the same kind of age that you were when your father died.
Yeah.
Pretty much exactly. And Larry obviously is older than you, 33 years older than you.
Yeah.
What kind of anxiety do you live with on that score in terms? Big.
I've, been so upset with my dad not being around, and have I gone and done the same thing to them? But
to your daughters?
I've never spoken to Larry about that, obviously. But I think, you're going to be in your 80s when they're, teenagers going off to uni or something. What have I done? But you can't help who you fall in love with.
No, you can't. I think that's a really important point that you've made. You can't help who you fall in love with. And if you fall in love with a man who's older than you because your father died when you were 2.5, and that might be in there somewhere, and maybe Larry, your husband, holds some sort of paternal role. If you are in love and you have 2 beautiful children, which you do, and have a really good quality life until it ends for whatever reason, because life is so random, what's so wrong with that? Has he shown you love in a way that maybe you've never experienced before?
Yeah.
What has that been like for you?
I probably met him too young. I probably should have.
You?
Well, I met him just after university, and I just had a strange relationship at university, and then met him. So I probably should have experienced a few more relationships probably before meeting him.
So you're in your early 20s?
Yeah.
Right. How did you meet him?
My mum met him first.
Your mother met him first? Your mother who...
Oh, God.
Your mother as a relationship or as a...
Look at your face.
No, I'm just obviously a little bit kind of...
Yeah.
Because we learnt earlier on that there are some amazing parallels between your mother and your father and you and Larry. Do you think you married Larry to try and get your dad back into your life?
You're right. I have looked to Larry in a way as a father figure. I know that. I've definitely fallen for him. At the moment, we don't have a relationship, which is really sad. But I've certainly looked to him for someone to kind of love me in a paternal way, yeah. I feel he is the fatherly one in the relationship, definitely.
But do you think sometimes he feels like yours?
Well, yeah. Well, at the moment, he might as well be because
you're not having
he's sleeping in a different room. There's no, we don't even have a kiss. There's nothing. We're just there to parent.
So you're upstairs in the bed, almost with your 2 sisters, and he's downstairs being the father. Moving that into the issues relation to your 2 girls, how far do you think that when there is a family where the boundaries between the relationships become blurred or become skewed, where people start to represent other people or symbolise other people, how far do you think that'll would have an impact on parenting, have an impact on children?
Well, it's definitely having an impact because the girls don't know that it's supposed to be both of our beds. They say downstairs is Daddy's room, upstairs is Mummy's bed.
Which is also theirs when they want to be in it.
Yeah, but they do say it's my bed. They don't say it's their bed.
You've shifted from being Larry's partner and lover and wife into being his friend and the mother of his children. But also what you've said is the dynamic in the family as that happened has shifted from Larry being your husband and Delphi and Rebecca's father to being the father of Delphi, Rebecca and Sarah. So now we have a situation where you're kind of going to bed with
Sounds a bit messed up, doesn't it?
Well, these things happen. But for me, there's always something quite symbolic about why children can be in a parental bed, particularly when they push one parent out. In order for you and Larry to really be on track as a couple, I think you have to finally say goodbye to your dad. When a parent dies, if we are not able to grieve in a way that acknowledges the loss but also acknowledges that that person has gone, if we somehow keep them alive, it will mean that any other relationship we have will always be tainted by the spectre. And it is, you've said, the ghost that can come at night and put his arms around you. And really the man who should be putting his arms around you at night is your husband, not your father. By keeping him alive, well, at least there's Dad. But there isn't, and there hasn't been since you were the same age as the girls, and I think that's so painful for you to hear, but I think it's the truth. Oh, sweetheart, I'm going to have to move my chair. Move your chair. Oh, sweetheart. I think you've been grieving for a very, very, very long time, haven't you? And I think you've been grieving in the hope that somehow it would one day bring him back. But I think your girls and your husband and your family would benefit greatly if you were able to say goodbye to your father. For you to look at your husband and say, you are my husband. And your girls, I think, will then sleep in their beds, stop ripping each other's hair out, stop biting chunks out of each other's arms, stop banging their heads against doors, because the whole emotional temperature in the house, in the family, feels real. Mum, Dad, Rebecca and Delphi. If you can survive what you've been through with your girls, if you and Larry can survive that and have such gorgeous girls as you do, I think you've already got it. The one thing, though, that needs to, I think, leave and be allowed to leave is your fantasy that your father will come back to you. Because he won't. And that's just the hardest thing to say to you, and I think the hardest thing to hear.
So I'm going to use me go.
You think it's the one thing that keeps you going, but you know...
Yeah, you're right.
No, I'm not. You're not wrong. You think it's the one thing that keeps you going, but the truth is the real things that keep you going are in that house.
Yeah.
Armed with Tanya's techniques for dealing with the boys' tantrums, the Bogue family are off to a nearby theme park.
We normally don't go to places like this purely because Dylan does tend to get a bit freaked if there's a lot of noise.
It can go either way. You'll either be hyper or you'll go quite screaming and things like that. I think we know what's coming. So I dare say we will have a few moments.
Wow. We're not going this one. It's a good run. Yeah.
The day starts well with the whole family enjoying themselves and no need to call on Tanya's techniques.
You press the button.
But how long can that last?
Would you like to see the fire engines?
Come on then.
Dylan goes on the ride first while Morton is left to look after Arlen and Rowan.
Rowan? Yeah. Is that comfy?
Rowan's tantrum gives Mum and Dad the perfect opportunity to implement some of Tanya's advice.
I'm not going to
Do not hit Mummy. If you hit Mummy again, you will go and sit down.
You can't go round with us. There's only 2 at a time. Oh, please.
Today's been really strange. Dylan's kind of been the one who's been a little bit more laid back, but Rowan's been sort of overwhelmed by it, really. He's been a little bit more sort of stressed, whereas I was expecting sort of Dylan to be the one who was sort of more stressed, and yeah, he seems to be coping with it better than Rowan does, which is strange.
You come and stand with me next to the buggy.
Should we have a look and see what else?
Second
morning, if you hit again, you will hold on to the buggy. Tanya's techniques definitely worked for us today, even just recognising the difference, you know, and like I say, I probably wouldn't have brought Dylan somewhere like this, you know.
Say bye-bye. I was more confident within myself and confident in dealing with the situation, and we're looking forward to a lot more outings with a lot less stress.
In their earlier consultation, Sarah Larkin-Smith agreed to be more assertive when dealing with twins Delphi and Rebecca's tantrums.
What's wrong? No, no. Come on, Delphi. Look, there's Rebecca. There's Rebecca with the pram. It's dinner time soon, Delphi.
The Bogue family returned from their day out with presents for everyone.
Hello.
Yeah. I'd like you to give one of those to Delphi.
Wait.
Hold on. Wait. Shh, quiet, keep it secret.
Rebecca, you've got a present.
To Rebecca. Can we go and find? Can you give one to each of the girls? Wow, there you go.
Rebecca, come here, quick.
Give
You've
her
got a present.
one to Rebecca.
One to Delphi.
Thank you. Wow, well
Yes,
done. Yeah. A horsey. Wow.
Rebecca, what do you say? Come on. Say nice. What do you say?
Say thank you for your horsey.
Hairbrush.
Delphi, you have to say thank you. Stress. Sorry.
After all the presents have been given out, the children are playing in the lounge.
Take the fish.
Have a cuddle. Thank you. Oh, make it all better. Is that a better cuddle? Don't shove people. Oh, Arlen. Bully boy. No. No.
No. No.
Arlen, you do not push people. No.
No.
Are you telling me off for? Arlen, right, no. You're not pushing people. Your daddy will be in a minute. Arlen, no. Right, come on, you're not pushing. What are we going to find? Mummy's going to make you tea. Be here, out the way. There you go. No, not in the kitchen. Not in the kitchen.
Little pig.
Oh, wow. We've got something for you, Connor. Oh, we did have. Has anybody seen it?
After their trip out, Tanya catches up with the Bogues.
How was your day?
Really good.
Oh, do you know, I'm so glad you said that, because it's Thursday evening. You've never taken your boys to a theme park before because of the anxiety that either Dylan would get overstimulated or Rowan would misbehave and the whole thing would go pear-shaped. So tell me, give me the edited highlights.
Dylan was just absolutely incredible. Dylan went on everything. Rowan was the one who was really kind of with it all and sort of really kind of overwhelmed. And then when we come to get off things, because he wasn't wanting to come off them, it was like every ride sort of afterwards was kind of, he was just getting the point, his face would change, and afterwards I was like, right, come on, what, get on next, and looking at the map. And
1 minute, what, darling?
Seahorse.
A seahorse.
Two seahorses.
Two.
So basically, we were just, if he did start, we were just walking away and kind of getting down with Dylan because he wanted the map all day. He was like, you know.
He was into that. In terms of the difference in managing Rowan compared to how you managed him when you came in, what would you say was the key difference today for you?
Not caring what other people thought was definitely a big issue.
Totally.
Yeah, and I think basically just ignoring him more. So, you know, and if he was walking behind us screaming, it was just right, okay, we'll just keep going. And
previously, she would have grabbed him, you would have talked to him, you would have had him screaming in your arms because it would have just. Brilliant. You look really relaxed and happy.
It was just really nice to me because I'll be honest, I asked to go out a lot with the boys and Morton hasn't kind of been in the frame of mind, I guess, to go out, and it's always just like Morton hasn't really been in the mood. So
what's life going to be like on weekends for the Bogue family?
I suppose if we're off, I mean, with being off and stuff, it'd definitely be something we do a lot more of. So.
Brilliant. Listen, I'm glad you've had a good day. I'm really glad you've had a good day. Well, if you can do horrible, manic theme park, you can do anything.
Kim has put Letitia to bed early so that she can spend some quality time with 8-year-old son Connor to find out how he feels about the time they've spent in the house.
How do you feel about going home?
Really excited.
How do you feel about Letitia?
She's had a major improvement.
Well, it wasn't Letitia really, it was me, wasn't it, that just hadn't bonded with Letitia since she was born. Looking forward to seeing Nan and Grandad.
Yeah.
Have you missed them?
Missed everybody.
Have you? What do you think? We've done well coming here, do you think?
Yeah.
It's what we needed to do. You know that I love you, don't you?
Yeah.
And even though like, Letitia's getting a lot more attention, you know, now, more than what she's ever really had, you know that you can still come to me, don't you, and talk to me if you ever need me.
Yeah.
Or just want to talk, or just want to sit and... Whoops, got my hand moving it all. So how do you feel towards Letitia now and to me, now that we've done this?
I feel like we've done... that you've both done really well.
All right.
Yeah.
There's no arguing now, is there?
No.
And there shouldn't be, because hopefully how things are now, they'll stay the same.
Tanya, she's done it for us.
She's helped Mummy sort life out, hasn't she?
It's the family's last night in the House of Tiny Tearaways.
Good night, Delphi.
The Larkin-Smiths twins came into the house with a sleep problem so severe that for the last 18 months, Dad Larry has been forced to sleep on a camp bed in the lounge.
Now, why don't you want to go to bed?
During their time in the house, Larry and Sarah have used the rapid return technique, returning Delphi to bed a total of 69 times and Rebecca 32 times.
Bedtime now. Into bed. Okay, see you in the morning. Night-night.
Tonight, their hard work has paid off and the twins settle in less than half an hour after just one rapid return. It's the end of an emotional day for Mum Sarah. Finally, it's Amanda and Morton's turn to put their children to bed.
Okay. Daddy loves you. Night, night.
Good night, sweet dreams.
He's getting out. Amanda.
Huh?
He's getting out, don't he?
No, I thought I was going to give him another cuddle if you just sort out here and I'll see to him. How are you? Any jump?
Mama bed.
No, not Mummy's bed. Your big boy bed. Right, okay, you don't have to have a cuddle on if you don't want to. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If you get up, Mummy's just going to put you back in again. Good night. Good night, sweet dreams. See you later, alligator. Yeah. They're all right where they are.
Right, back into that room.
Bed.
So we're going to go and get all our sleep problems tonight.
Because they're just way too tired, like I say. I've just had tea and everything else.
Tell us what's the matter.
Yeah.
Come on.
I just hate rushing. It's like everything's rushed and then you disappeared off out and I was still rushing with everything. I just kind of thought, like, you can see it's manic and I'm trying to get everything done. And then you just got up and walked down. I've just done all the stuff. I've cooked the tea and everything. You forget I do
no, but you could have left the dishes
day.
till after we put them to bed.
He's gone to sleep.
Bloody chill out. You check it on yourself to do it, or?
Do all what? Because I don't, doesn't get done.
Well, we'll get them all, get done, we'll not back down. You know what I mean? I quite often do breakfast and then go back down and wash the dishes. I don't expect people to do it. Oh.
Everyone else is asleep and the argument between Amanda and Morton seems to have blown over.
Don't you always hitting the same spot? You can't just play fighting. Thingy, you've got to keep kicking where it hurts. Don't you? Go on, Karate Kid. You'll fall backwards and hit your head off the thing.
At the end of the night, Kim Taylor records her progress in a video diary.
It's been a good day today. Tonight with Connor, it was good just to get and sit and chat, and even though he's game mad. I'm emotionally drained. You know, we came in here and I'm thinking it's all Letitia. She's got behavioural problems, she's got this, she's got that. But, you know, thanks to, like, Tanya and, you know, everybody else in the house, you know, just like, no, it isn't. It's me that's the one more so at fault. I think I've realised that Letitia has been basically emotionally starved by me since more or less birth. I'm regretting that because it shouldn't be like that with, you know, when it's your baby and they're born and you should be, you know, the bond should be there. But now that bond is coming between me and Letitia. We are a lot closer within the days that we've been in the house.
Tomorrow on the House of Tiny Tearaways.
It's your daddy's face. It's your daddy. He's your daddy, mate. He loves you very much.
Tell him what you really want.
Marry me. Be my husband.
When do you want that?
As soon as possible.